Hello, welcome. Namaste, dear ones. I am Mrs. Louv MD, 1111 Awakening. I thank you so much for tuning in, and I really appreciate you for subscribing and liking this channel. This is a major aspect of healing, which is shadow work that I'm going to venture into in this segment. When we think about shadow work, it's something that basically, to explain it in layman terms, is the parts of yourself that you may not want to address, different aspects of our being that has been suppressed for years, things that we may, as an effort to really survive within our current environment, we really have pushed into our subconscious mind. And usually when you are within your twin flame union, there's things that you have made aware to your counterpart, to your divine masculine, as a part of really sharing your soul and really bonding. Okay, and so during this process, along the journey as a twin flame, you both counterparts, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, may have become a divine mirror to each other in order to reveal those shadow parts of yourself. So for instance, if you are someone that has struggled with the fact that you have had some level of abuse, sexual abuse, what have you, that has occurred to you, something that really has hurt you badly, and likewise for your counterpart, those things that you really suppress have to come up in order for you guys to really evolve as the divine union that you are. And so it may be something that's triggering, and a lot of times people don't really want to focus on the feedback when it comes to the breakdown within relationships prior to the separation of yourself and your divine masculine. But although certain things have happened to both of you, in the sense that you may have turned against each other, betrayed each other in whatever facet, a lot of times the divine mirror is showing you what it is that needs to be healed in order to reunite and reconcile the relationship. So the spiritual awakening represents the lifting of the veil of ignorance, per se. So ignorance masks our true nature and keeps us trapped in a lower frequency of consciousness. So this awakening, in a sense of hurt, betrayal, disillusionment, different things of such, is ways for your higher selves to really manifest and allow you to really unveil what has been put into the subconscious mind and really deal with and heal. So this may look like, symptoms of this may look like during the separation process of the divine feminine, having triggers. You know, you're watching something on television or listening to the radio, and there's songs that may come up. There's people that may come up that remind you of things that you rather forget. And it's not that the universe, that the creator, mother goddess, father god is punishing you. It's that it's time for you to heal. It's not time for you to really put those things back. Utilize those times, and this is what shadow work is about. When things that really bother us, times that we really want to forget, it's not time to really push that back any longer. You have to deal with it. Deal with the pain during those times. Allow yourself to alchemize those triggers that come up and those reminders that come up, and change it into something positive. So opposed to the first emotion that comes up, which is fear a lot of times, which is also a false emotion. When that comes up and you're triggered by something that may have hurt you in the past, allow your mind in that moment to really reset. Breathe, take a deep breath in, exhale, and allow yourself to think of an appropriate response so that you can alchemize those experiences and what they have taught you. Think about the lessons that you were given from surviving different experiences, and now you're thriving. And this is how you alchemize and really work through the shadows of what has been haunting you. Usually the feminine counterpart tends to respond more willingly to the process and surrenders more easily to the call of her soul to really elevate. Usually the masculine energy is different. It is often more deeply attached to the material world and the low level frequency of that ego consciousness. So it is not uncommon for your divine masculine to resist this soul call. So realize that during your separation in this twin flame journey, allow yourself to not feel the need to press upon your divine masculine to heal in the same aspect that you are, because we are different in a sense when it comes to the feminine and the masculine. How you can remedy the process is to pull your energy that you've given so much to the divine masculine and realize that that is also an aspect of shadow work, healing codependency. You may have felt, for instance, me, myself, not having a really good connection with my mother because she was dealing with her own pain and sorrows. I really did so much in order to try to seek her approval and try to remedy her hurt. I would draw pictures, I would do paintings. I just wanted to really excel and impress her, and nothing quite got her attention until I surrendered the process. When I began to withdraw my level of neediness for her approval and love and begin to turn inward, that's when she started to more so come around, per se. So we can utilize that to process when we are going through the separation phase of this journey in relation to your divine masculine. Although you may be distant from each other, you two may be in completely different areas, thousands of miles away. However, the energy and the heart is never distant. It's always felt because you have a soul connection. So in order to alchemize when you're feeling memories come back up about betrayal or hurt or things that you may have even done that you feel apologetic about, in order to truly heal and deal with that shadow of those situations, is to really find ways to alchemize that by journaling, reading, finding positive outlets. Especially if you're someone that has children, things may arise through your children. Instead of dealing with it in a way that brings more negativity, bring the positivity within that space. Think of the positive aspect of how to deal with this. Go for walks. Take time to rest. Take naps. Eat something healthy. Do things that really bring about positivity into your space. And we also realize that resistance only creates more pain. The call of the soul persists until it is answered on both aspects of the twins. So if you are in a situation where you both are separated, right? Because it's now time for your souls to truly elevate and heal. Avoid getting into a low level frequency of trying to do the work for your counterpart, per se. Realize that in order for us to truly elevate into our highest beings, we also must fulfill our divine roles. So as a man is healing your divine masculine, and it is something that you probably really are concerned about, regardless of the pain, when you truly, truly love someone on a spiritual level, no matter what they have done, you have love for them and you still want the best for them. So during this time, opposed to being proactive in the sense of trying to do things that will help the masculine, pull your energy back. Remember that you're healing this codependency that you have had all along. Draw your strength inward and do things that edify yourself. If that means that you have to take more time to groom and take care of your emotional health, your mental health. Do some EFT tapping, just different things that's going to bring your inner being at peace. Do those things. Whenever you feel the urge, which is sometimes, it's a primal urge, because especially if you've been doing it so long, if you've been more so that go-to person for your divine masculine, being in a space that you're now pivoting your energy to the right focus, which is yourself, you have to constantly, until it becomes a part of how you operate, you have to redirect your energy to yourself, to what it is that brings you peace and joy. Because the truth of the matter is, doing the shadow work is imperative in order to shift your dynamic to more so loving yourself. When you truly get to a space where you love yourself the utmost, that's when everything aligns, and really you begin to notice that your life has become heaven-like in this physical plane. Realize that the karmic patterns and cycles are presented in every aspect of our journey in life in order for this resolution to occur. Even if you've already experienced a dark night of the soul and you are ready for this awakening to happen for your counterpart, remember that the shadows need time to be released and the karma needs to be resolved. So I know sometimes within relationships, there's a lot of tit for tat. So for instance, if your divine masculine has done things that has hurt you, betrayals, infidelity, different things of that sort, some people create more havoc, especially for the divine feminine, when they begin to do similar things in order to get back. When you decide to opt out of that process and realize that you need to continue to stay on the straight and narrow, you need to continue to emit love, continue to emit respect, you create a higher vibration. All right. And this also triggers your divine masculine to do what is necessary to make the right choices, to correct themselves. All right. So this is how you're able to heal. This is how you're able to really press upon your divine masculine to make the right choices as well, by you vibrating higher, by you not being what in the divine masculine's experience has been the precursor of their life. If they have been brought up into a family where they've seen a lot of disrespect and betrayal and hurt, and just that old adage of hurt people, if that's been their script and that's something that they're playing out, realize that you're able to alchemize that situation. And this is how, as divine feminine, we have this intuitive nature to really tap in and heal ourselves and others, in particular our divine counterpart, is by vibing higher and not doing what has been done to you. If you're truly an elevated being, if you're truly a divine feminine, you will realize that you have a higher calling on your life, and you will not lower your frequency in order to prove a point, because the true lesson is doing better. The best revenge is always evolving and doing better. And who's meant to meet you there will. And being that you realize that this connection is very strong and spiritual, your divine masculine is going to rise to the occasion, because this also is healing to your divine masculine. All right? And I know it takes a huge amount of strength in order to tap into that, especially if you come from an environment like, for instance, me and myself, with my relationship with my parents, just having seen that my mother and father were both afraid to truly love. And so my mother was always known to be very loving and kind and reserved. And being with my father, due to his own abandonment issues, he engaged in a lot of infidelity and deceit. And so in effect, how that really set up the tone for my spiritual journey with my divine masculine is, with my parents, my mother allow that to really transform her for the worse. So she began to operate in a low nature. And in essence, when my father got it together and really wanted to do right and made a huge effort to do right by her, the damage was so severe for my mother that she basically became a shell of herself. And it was a huge lesson to me that if that ever fell into my life, that I would alchemize it in a way. And for some reason, I was enlightened as a young child, and I saw that maybe if she wasn't able to get through it, she should have just left him. But she loved him so much, but it's just that pain transformed her to do things that she normally would not have done. So what I learned from that is always rise higher. Do your best not to, if someone hurts you, not to hurt them back, but do your best to be better, which you will reap the rewards from that if you stay the course. So continuing on, the runner and chaser dynamic exists because of the self-love deficit and shadows within both twins' energetic field. Once these are activated, the twins' energy will continue to magnetize and repel one another. If you do not love yourself, your twin cannot love you. Now, this is very key because at times I know, even for myself, dealing with the divine masculine, you see things and you see that potential, and you know that if you just love this person, if you show that you're there, if you show that you are long suffering, something in our minds tells us that this person is going to receive it. But realize that you can be setting yourself up for failure if you keep allowing behaviors that do not resonate with you. So the ultimate truth in regard to dealing with the shadow work is that sometimes the shadow work is there in order to propel us, to humble us, and propel us to be our greatest selves. So dealing with the divine masculine, the best thing for the divine feminine to do, if there's a lot of shadow work that has to come into play for yourself and for your divine masculine, focus on yourself. Allow your divine masculine to deal with the karma that he has to face in order for him to resolve it. Because truly, if the divine feminine gets in the way of that process, how will he ever evolve naturally on his own? Especially that he's a man. A man needs to do it on his own. They are designed this way, and this is just how it works. And if you want the relationship to be something that will materialize into a beautiful union, because more than likely you started off as a beautiful union, but these aspects of ourselves had to be revealed in order to heal. So realize that you can't do the work for him. You need to do the work for yourself. And also remember that divine mirror, these things are being reflected back to you, because a lot of times when you think about it, similar pains that you may feel within your union is stuff that you have witnessed from your parents or other people that have been really close to you that you really tried to suppress and you did not want to happen to you. But the ultimate thing is that being able to get through these processes and to allow yourself to heal and really radiate to a next level gives you so much strength and inner knowing that you are a divine goddess and that you have everything within you to heal and not allow yourself to be transformed by the pain and traumas of the past, and know that love, intimacy really heals, and you have to create that within yourself in order to get to that level with your twin. When twin flames, when soulmates are in separation, the triggers to heal self persist. You can run from your twin, but you cannot run from the higher calling of your soul, the call to return to self. And so this may look like, for instance, by separating from your twin, all right, whoever separates. And usually the end stages is when the one that normally is the stayer, the empathetic one, is the one that runs. And when that catalyst happens and you really decide to cut off communication, you decide to really heal, realize that that call on your union and that spiritual soul that you share is something that's going to call both of you to your highest levels. If you commit to the process, do not, no matter how much you may miss the person, you may be aroused at times, take the time to realize that this is a divine opportunity to really heal yourselves. And those shadows need to come out and be revealed. Don't rush the process. Allow yourself to heal fully so that when you are reunited, you're able to do more healing simultaneously without it being triggered into another separation. The term calling of our soul is entirely appropriate. Our soulmates, our twin flames, are calling us in mind and spirit, yet in our 3D reality, a tangible relationship between the twins continues to be elusive. This journey leads us to understand that to reconnect with our soul, to answer that calling, we must go not to each other, but within. By going within and acknowledging the truth of who we are, we access an infinite source of healing, peace, joy, and abundance. It is for this reason that this spiritual journey, whether you have met your twin flame or not, is relevant to all. Surrender and acceptance is not just a stage of this spiritual twin flame journey or soulmate journey, spiritually speaking. It is a stage of awakening that indicates our will to answer the call of the Holy Spirit and return to oneness, return to wholeness. It represents our connection to source energy, life, and all that is. Once you reach a full surrender in terms of the twin flame journey, you accept all that is, and in doing so, in embracing love, you release fear. Surrender in itself is a journey. There are many stages. Some of us may be dragging ourselves through this journey, but realize that when you surrender and you get rid of all the kicking and screaming and just resisting the process, and when you get through of being triggered, many of our experiences of awakening will begin to truly unfold. Just simply go within, take the time to really have space to yourself and allow the feelings to happen. And don't get me wrong, this is not for the faint of heart. It causes you to really second guess a lot of things, but all that needs to be purged, the fear and all of that, in order for you truly to heal and get to a space where you really love yourself. Another thing that I definitely want to add in is to avoid sharing these experiences with others, because realize that, and when I mention sharing it with others, meaning that while you're going through the healing process, this needs to be nurtured like it's your own baby. You need to keep it private, because outsiders that may not be on your journey per se, that you and your soulmate are on, may have misperceived notions about what it is that you need to do. The truth of what you need to do is within your heart, and your higher self always lets you know that this reconciliation will happen. All is not lost. You may have had a beautiful experiences together, and it would be such a tragedy during this rift between you both that are going through this spiritual awakening to just allow it to falter because of onlookers. Realize that true divinity is in the union of the man and the woman, and that the divine masculine and the divine feminine are imperative, not just for ourselves of having a loving relationship, but on a higher level, we really reverberate throughout the world. When people see a united couple, it gives them hope for humanity. And not just on the superficial level, people can really tell when they see genuine souls united. And sometimes those relationships have a lot of adversities because there's so much blessings that come out of this. But realize that this is an opportune time to really go within self, allow yourself to heal, and allow yourself to process the feedback that you got from your twin flame, from your divine masculine. Because throughout the chaos, there has been things that has been revealed from his point of view, because you're not always right as well. So just like you have feedback of things that needs to be healed within him, there's feedback from his point of view that needs to be healed within you. For instance, with me, fear of abandonment, codependency, fear of betrayal, all those things had to be revealed to me because I knew there was a calling on my life for a higher purpose. And we have to do the work. And this is what love is all about. Love is on that spectrum. And you know, hate is on there as well. It's on the opposite end of love. So it's all love. Allow ourselves to really commit to this process and do the work so that it brings us this much closer to reconciliation and true heaven-like life on this planet, in this realm. It is possible, and I'm a living testimony of that. So until next time, always vibe higher and thrive. I am Mrs. Louv MD. Thank you for tuning in.